yeah.
Welcome to this BVTV SpotCast, coming to you from the UK studios of BizVision. I'm your host, Malcolm Gallagher. Now, this is episode 2 in a creativity trilogy with author and expert, Dr. Roger Firestien. Hello again, Roger.
Hello, Malcolm. Hello.
Hey, I'm going into some posh speaking in a minute.
All right, ready for it.
Now, in deference to your German heritage,
yes, sir.
There's a German word, Alternativlosigkeit. Okay, it means alternativelessness. Alternativelessness. Now, it's often said that's a strategy of German Chancellor Angela Merkel, how she gets her own way. How should leaders, though, move away from this stifling culture, if they have it, or even if they recognize that they have it, and move towards understanding there are almost always viable alternatives?
Yes, there's a number of things around that. And one is, let me tell you a story. A number of months ago, I was doing an interview similar to this, and I talked about creating a flash and some of the other work that we're doing. And the question came up was, well, how do you move from sort of a one-off creativity program or reading your book to doing this in an ongoing basis? And Malcolm, I was stymied because I've been thinking this way for 44 years. One of my brilliant graduate students said, well, learn the language of creativity. So what's the language of creativity? The language of creativity is asking creative questions, asking questions like, how might me, or what might be all the ways to do this? And I was just doing a session last week with our Department of Defense here. And the person that hosted me said this, and it was just really profound. And she said, if you want to change the organization, you need to change yourself first. And that just reminded me of that wonderful Gandhi quote, if, you must be the change you want to be in the world. And it just struck me that's like, okay, so I've got to be different in the organization. Now let's take this at a couple levels. So let's say you work in an organization and the leader doesn't see the value of creativity. Well, you can work in your area of influence, and we call these pockets of light in organizations. So you say you have a group of 5 to 7 people that are working with. So you practice the language of creativity there. You take a look at, using phrases like, what might be all the ways we can do this, or how might we? And using a few little creativity methods that we talk about in Creating the Flash. And then what begins to happen is we sort of use the contagion method. People say, hey, what's going on? What's working over there, right? Now, if you really want to change an entire organization, then you need to start with the leader, all right? The leader needs to see some value in using the language of creativity. And Malcolm, this is the thing that I've been toying with lately. For years and years and years, we did training programs that were 2 days, 3 days, 5 days long. We can't do that anymore, all right? And so now we've got videos that we have available. We have books like Creating a Flash. And my whole thing now is like, if we could just get down to 1 or 2 things to help people to be more creative, and it is asking creative questions. And so when leaders are able to do that, ask, well, how might we do this, as opposed to this is the way to go, it makes the organization more creative. So then we also talk a little bit about, in Creating a Flash, we talk about the toxic leader and the healthy leader. And the toxic leader is one that is aloof, that takes credit, that tells, that avoids debates. Well, in those sorts of organizations, you're not going to have creativity going on. A healthy leader is approachable, it gives credit, listens, seeks ideas. So if you want your organization to be more creative and you're the leader, you got to change yourself first. So that would be my advice on that. And I hope I hit your question on there.
Yeah, that was great. Now, listen, you're a very agile and adaptable guy. So I'm going to give you 30 seconds to tell us why people should buy this book.
30 seconds why people should buy that book, because it distills 40 years of all the best practice of creativity that I've used throughout my career. It gives you the top things that you need to do consistently to become deliberately more creative. It's not a bunch of creativity tricks. It's the stuff that works consistently. And it's a really beautiful, fun book to read.
I agree with you, by the way. I agree with you. Yeah. Now, thanks, Roger. Now, let me remind our audience of your URL, your website, which obviously viewers, you can see on the screen behind me, but we're going to spell it out for listeners. It's all the W's, Roger. Now, let me spell out his surname for you. It's Fire, Firestien, STIEN.com, rogerfirestien.com. Roger's books, this one, Create in a Flash, and this one, Why Didn't I Think of That, are all published by Green Tractor Publishing. And Roger's given you his sell of the book. He's spot on, by the way. He's spot on. Today's agility and adaptability are key words to be embraced by leaders. Stifling ideas, even wild out-of-the-box ones, will not result in a company that is remarkable or a place where people desire to work. So thanks, Roger Firestien. Are you ready for episode 3 in your trilogy?
I am ready for episode 3. Let's cue it up.